or whatever the heck it says. Okay, cool. Awesome, we're on.
Yep.
All right, so who wants to start?
First, just sharing what we found, right, from our interview.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's just what did you find from the interview? So I can start. Someone else can start.
Yeah, it says every group member takes about 5 to 10 minutes addressing each of the questions. So if we want to start with the first one and then just go, it doesn't matter.
So like one of us, the first question, then we'll all go around. Then second question, we'll all go around.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I like that. So I'll start, I guess.
Okay.
I'll go. I don't really care about disclosing who I did my interview with. It was a family member.
Okay.
It's my grandfather. I did it with him, and my uncle has cerebral palsy. And it's something I didn't know. Growing up as a kid, I kind of figured Uncle Jim was Uncle Jim,
Yeah.
And it was okay. And it was an interesting talk because I had never actually had that talk with my grandfather or my mom before. I just kind of grew up around it, so I figured it was the norm, and that's how it was. It wasn't until I was older and in high school that I figured, okay, maybe there's something different. And as soon as I passed his age mentality, like in my own development, I know that sounds bad to say, that's when I started to realize, okay, something's different. When my grandfather told me he was talking and he told me it wasn't until about 6 months after he was born that we kind of figured out that something was wrong. He was developing slower than his two sisters. He was slow to crawl, slow to walk, had a very hard time talking. And it was interesting. He said he felt different physically. And it's something normal that kids with cerebral palsy have is their muscles don't feel like a normal baby's muscles. So that was kind of a giveaway. So they took him to a pediatrician, and they gave him a test where they run your finger along your foot, and he reacted differently than others. And it was kind of that realization that, okay, we have a kid with cerebral palsy, now we need to move forward. And then they took their necessary steps. My grandfather was a teacher, so they put him in regular kindergarten, but he was a little slower than others, so they put him in classes, and he went to a children's hospital for speech therapy and went through the whole 9 yards, and now he's 43 and a functioning member of society, which is kind of cool. It has like an end, like a happy ending to that.
That's good.
Yeah. That was my interview.
Cool. I can go next.
Okay, cool.
So I did a lady in my ward back home, and I just chose her because like she works in a daycare, and so she works with a lot of kids. I didn't really know if there was kids with like special needs in the group or anything, but I just knew she works with kids a lot. And the thing that she told me about though was a kid that she works with at church, and she said that let's see. There's a kid in our ward who has autism, and I've worked with him also before, and like he is like brilliant. Like it is crazy. Like when he was younger, like I just remember like sitting behind him in church, and like he was just like reading and like doing math problems, and like I'm like, what the heck? But anyway, and she said that like when she worked with him, like he's always like off in his own world, and like he's just like major distractions and stuff. But she said it was really cool because when she works with him, like she's able to be like to ask him. What was it she said? She said to ask him like, what are you thinking about, or like, what's going on in your head, and like he like loves to be able to be like, and like he has the coolest thoughts. He's like, have you ever noticed that the lights do this or something? Like he's just like, I don't know, it's kind of crazy. And like they said that like she was talking to his parents and stuff, and like just like from a young age, like you could tell like he was just like his like brain is differently, and like he like the way he thought about things is differently. And then she was telling me another thing. She has a nephew who also has, oh shoot, let's see if I can pull it up. 1 second, sorry, I lost it. Um, for cerebral palsy, and like they said that like when he was younger, like they didn't even like they couldn't tell for like a long time. Like he seemed like he was like growing like at a normal rate and stuff, but then like once he like it hit like that he was starting to walk and stuff, like there was an issue. But he's 24 now, and like they said like he's just like come a long way like through therapy and like working through his family and stuff. Like his family's really been there for him. He's been able to. He did a service mission, and he actually just went through the temple this last week. And so, like they said, it's like really cool, like how far he's been able to come and how much he's been able to do. He does like horse shows, and he loves competing in those. So he's done like a lot of his life, and like I've actually met him, and he's just like the sweetest guy. Like he just, I don't know, like he just loves talking to people, and he'll just like he'll automatically talk to me. He's like, oh, let me show you all this stuff, and like I'll just like pull out his phone and show you like pictures, and so he's really cool. But I think it's cool that like they said that like he was able to grow most through like his family support and stuff, like because they like challenged him to do harder stuff, and yeah, that was fun.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah. Okay, I guess I'll go next. Okay, so I interviewed a friend of mine. She's really close. She has 2 kids, like a newborn and a 2-year-old, but none of them they don't have any special needs or anything like that. But the reason why I interviewed her was because she worked with special ed children, actually all through high school. And so I knew about that, but I didn't know the extent. So she's been doing it for like 4 years, and she had a lot of experience with them. And so I wanted to ask her. But one of the things that I thought was really interesting was because the reason why she did this was because she wanted to participate with them, but she also wanted to learn from them. I guess she wanted to learn patience and trying to, kind of get in touch with them and see how they learn and develop. But for her, she had 2 girls that stuck out to her the most, and I think there was one girl, I think she says that she was deaf, and then there was another one who I think was just had autism. I think that was all it was for the second girl. But these girls, because she got to learn how to communicate, using sign language, and, got to teach, do different lessons like math and reading with them. And she never once felt frustrated, I guess, in a sense. She kind of felt like she was learning how to be a better person for herself. So she was happy to be there. She loved them, and I guess that just taught her that she needed to be more patient. But other than that, that was pretty much all she got from it, because she had to learn how to take care of somebody that's different. Then she had a nephew that she talked about who kind of seemed like he was colorblind, and because he kept getting his colors mixed up all the time. And so for a while they were concerned, and they tried to go to the doctor, and they went to like 6 different doctors, and nobody would say anything. And then eventually she found someone and that actually diagnosed him and said that he wasn't colorblind or anything like that, but he was hearing impaired. So they went about that and handled that in a certain way. So that just kind of taught her that it's not every child is going to be per se normal, but they're going to have different issues and they're going to be different. But that just taught her to be aware and still like love them and be patient with them no matter what. And so that just kind of taught her a little lesson just in case her kids were having those issues. So that was mine.
That's cool.
Nice.
And then for Janelle's she's just going to type it on the thing. Oh, there it is. Does someone want to read it or something? I carried it, I guess. Or if we want to read it individually, it doesn't matter.
Oh, where'd it go?
Okay, it says, I interviewed a lady that is in my home ward. She has custody of her grandson and has spina bifida. I don't know. It's something hard that she has to go through because the child can't walk and he should be. He is 3.5 right now and he is going through dozens of surgeries and has gotten lots of braces and wheelchairs to help him learn how to walk. He has full mobility of his arms, so sometimes he can kind of army crawl around. She's a really awesome lady for taking care of her grandson, and she covers all of her medical bills. Just about everything is normal about him, except he isn't potty trained. He has trouble talking because he has some fluid in the back of his spine. It's hard for her because she just can't let him go play or anything. She has to constantly be with him. He's a pretty awesome kid, though. Sorry to say that. That's really cool. Oh, he has fluid in his brain, not his spine.
Sweet. That's
That's
it.
really cool.
That is cool, yeah.
Um,
So, did you read the entire thing, Christy?
yes, I did.
Okay. All right. So the next question is after doing in this interview, what is your sense of normal? What does normal mean to you guys? I can go on this one if you guys. I can go if you guys want me to.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. I think for this one, for me it's a little harder because I've grown up with my uncle and my brother who is high functioning. So normal to me, it's hard and I also work with kids. So when I work with kids, I can see who's. It's weird because when you grow up around it, you pick up on the little tidbits. You can pick up on the stimuli of an autistic child getting really excited, and that's his way of stimulating or her way of stimulating themselves. And I can't really put a finger on what's normal, because what's normal to us isn't normal to everybody else in the world. So I think normal kind of pertains to each individual and their parameters of life, if that makes any sense.
Oh, yeah.
I know I had an experience the other week. I was working what we do with something at work that's called a low ropes course, which is our challenge course at Tom Sawyer Camps. That's where I work in Pasadena. And I was working with 4th grade girls, and we were giving them challenges. And this group that I had, their challenge was to stand on this tarp that's, I don't know, maybe 4 feet by 3 feet. And there was, I think, like 12 or 13 of them. They had to stand on the tarp, and without falling off the tarp, they had to flip the tarp over. And they were having a hard time. If they were having a hard time, every group had a hard time doing it. But this one group in particular, there was a girl in the group who I can tell was kind of, I don't want to say all there, but just kind of a little bit of a space cadet, meaning she was just kind of off in her own world and very intelligent. And her teacher comes up to me and goes, yes, this is our special needs case. And I go, she's high functioning. And she goes, yes, how did you know? I was like, I have a brother who acts the same way. So kind of picked up on it. And watching her interact with her peers, it's interesting. Because you would expect people to get upset with her, which they did, because she was having a hard time.
Yeah.
But I put her in a place of power. I said, okay, your group cannot communicate to me unless they talk to you first. And watching her go from not caring at all to someone that's in the middle of a discussion, has these brilliant ideas, using vocabulary that is way above any 4th grade girl's vocabulary, was amazing to watch. And it was really cool. And I think that's the norm for those kids, what they're capable of doing.
Yeah.
At least that's what it means to me.
Yeah, I agree. Exactly. I like that you said that it's kind of, everybody thinks that the normal is different depending on the person, because in the interview it was the same thing, because with this deaf girl, she felt that, because she was so innocent and didn't know any better, but she thought that the way that she was normal, and she thought other people were just abnormal. They thought that, she thought that they were crazy because they weren't like her. And so I think it depends on who you are and what you've experienced and how you are as a person, because they're going to think that we're crazy, but we think that we're normal.
Yeah.
So I think it's all depending on who you are and what the normal is. But I think just in general, everyone is just different, and I don't know if there is a abnormal sense to that or not. But I thought that was really interesting, how she felt about us versus how we feel about her.
Hmm.
That's true. And I don't know, when I read that question, I was kind of like, sense of normal. I don't really like to think of them as like, not normal.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like my major is special education, and so like I work with special needs children a lot, and like I don't know, like when you're with them, you're not like, oh, you're not normal. Like they're so special. Like I think it's like, I don't know. So when I read that, I was like, normal. Like I was like, they are normal, like in their own way. Like we're all different. Like
Yeah.
we're not normal. We all are like, So I don't know when I read that, but yeah.
So Janelle says, I agree with you guys. I don't think that there's a normal. Everyone has their own family and life experience. Sorry, I lost it. Own family and life experience. Own family and life experience that is going to be different from everyone else's. Everyone is going to have their own sense of what normal is, but I don't think there is a normal.
Exactly. I agree.
I'm going to throw a curveball here because I know I said that before, but watching my own brother and watching how he's developed, he's in the pre-puberty years, and so he's kind of coming, like, he's very smart. He's in 7th grade now, and he's kind of coming to his own and kind of realizing that he doesn't think like everyone else. I think I witnessed the other day when he was talking to my mom. He goes, I don't understand why I get so upset over these little things. I know they're little, and I know they don't mean much, but I get so upset over them. And he said, am I going crazy? I don't understand why, like, I think like this. And he was genuinely having a problem. They're pretty aware to see that what they're doing isn't, I guess, they're aware to see that what they're doing isn't, I'm going to say, socially normal as a society.
Yeah.
And that kind of threw me for a loop when I heard him say this. I was like, well, what difference does it make? Especially you're a human, aren't you? That's what I used to tell. That's what I tell kids at work. When they say, is he different? I go, is he a human? Yes. Then it doesn't matter.
Well, it's like interesting. My cousin, he's kind of the same way. Like, they can't do anything about it. Like, sometimes like he's the same way. Like he will get so upset, like over little things. Like, hey, Dallin, it's time to turn off the TV, and he's just like, are you kidding me? Like, and then he's like, I don't know, I'm so mad. But, like, and it's just like, I don't know, they just can't even.
It's pretty interesting. And I forgot to mention something. My grandfather, he pointed out, he asked me, do you know what the church's stance is on special needs cases? And I go, no, why? And he's like, well, from my understanding, the church's stance on it is that people that were so far ahead in the premortal existence that when they got here, they needed to be brought back a little bit and be held back. And he said to me, he looked at me and goes, I can't wait till we get to heaven and your Uncle Gunai gets there, and he goes, see, it was a little harder down there than you expected there, huh? So I'm kind of interested to see how that goes.
Yeah.
All right. Next question is: did you find the parents that were often the last to know if there was a delay or problem with their child? How did they come to that awareness? Did you get a sense of whether or not parents were receptive to receiving services?
I think that for me, when I was interviewing my friend, that I feel like that because I mean, even though her children, like for her, are not special needs or anything like that, but like she was very aware of it. Like she was kind of like the first. She would any slight bit of confusion or anything that she thinks may have been wrong, she's like the first to catch up on it. So she's never like the last. She doesn't, I mean, she's always on top of that. So when she was dealing with her nephew, she kind of felt like, it kind of seemed like that was her child, because that seemed off for him. She wanted, her sister to be like, hey, there's something wrong. And I don't know. I think for her, she wasn't receptive at all to receiving it. I think that she was more of like, she needs to go and figure out and talk to people and figure out what's going on. So I don't think that she was ever receptive to receiving that, but
Yeah.
That's good.
yeah.
And I didn't talk to that lady in my ward, specifically about that, but one of my special education classes, we talk about issues, and one of the major ones was that the parents have a hard time accepting they're like, no, nothing's wrong with my child, there's nothing there, and they're like, the teachers and people around them are like, the signs are obvious, you need to go have you need to go bring them in and get help, and it's that's for the child, and they're like, no, I would never make a child that needs extra help or anything like that, and it's just a way big problem, and even when they do know there is a problem, they have a hard time getting help, and they're because they're just oh, with my other kids we could handle the whole situation, we got this, or they're just not giving the services that their child needs. A lot of it is because of their own pride or something, they're just
They're in denial almost.
yeah.
Yeah.
They definitely a lot of times, especially they said when they're not used to that around them, they don't know any other families that have had special education kids or anything, and they have a hard time understanding that they need that help also for their child. So.
Yeah, I know at work we have a boy who's fourth grade, and you can tell he's on the spectrum. He's high functioning and handles things like a champ, and he functions normally. And his mom put down on his medical forms curative autism, and I read that as I was going through our med forms because I got to make sure I know each kid, what they're allergic to, what not allergic to, who gets what when we do snack, and what do I not give a kid. And I looked at that and I was like, you're kind of disabling your kid for life here. I mean, it may make it easier on you and your consciousness, but in the long run, he's going to have a hard time.
Mm-hmm.
Socially, he doesn't get things. Luckily, thank goodness, we, in our program, my boss and I have sat in on a program called BLAST, which is a social development program for kids with special needs. So we know how to handle that and make it a constructive learning environment for him. But if he hadn't been put in our program, or if he hadn't been exposed to that type of learning, it would be so farther. I don't want to say it's because of us, but school also helps, of course. They have a great program. And if he would have gone anywhere else, I think he would have had a much harder time. Mm. And I've sat in on the program and watched these kids learn, and basically what they do in this program is they put all these kids with special needs and they put them in a room, and they'll cause a problem within the group to teach in the moment of frustration. And they'll use, and the best teaching utensil that anybody can have working with kids, in my opinion, is the peers around. How did that make you guys feel when little Johnny did this? Did you guys like that? Did you like it when he screamed at everybody? No. The kid kind of thinks it through. And my brother has gone to the program since forever, and I can tell you right now it does wonders. And seeing him function with even me personally is completely different than it was when he was younger.
Yeah.
But and I've noticed watching parents go to that program, and this kind of goes into my interview, that the parents that I've come in contact with are very, very willing to. I want to help my kid out as much as I can. I want to further them. And my grandfather, being a teacher, was very willing to enroll him in a school and he found a school out in, I forget where. I can't remember where. Somewhere in Southern California. And all the way through elementary school up until high school, he was in this program, and it helped him learn how to walk. Not how to walk, but he went to therapy for walking and talking, but it taught him stuff for life. So now he's able to go and maintain a job and work and kind of support himself in a way. And that's what's important.
That's really cool. Janelle said, the lady I interviewed was aware of the problem when her daughter was pregnant. It was something that they had to prepare for months before he was born. She's on top of her stuff though. There wasn't a delay in finding out he had spina bifida because they were able to see in the ultrasound and they prepared before he was born. He is so on top of his stuff and she's excited to help him out and try everything that can get him on. That's really cool because they knew before, and so they were able to look into that. I feel like before that'd be really cool. Just be like, okay, this is what we have to expect, and we can prepare for it. So cool.
Yeah. Isn't that prenatal testing where you can test for different?
Yeah.
I don't want to say defects, but different abnormalities in development.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I don't know if I would do that. I'd be kind of nervous.
Yeah, that's true.
How they come, how do they come, in my opinion. I don't know. Would you guys be receptive? Like, if you had a kid like that, would you be receptive to having that kind of service given to you?
I think we'd like to think, that we would be, but it's so different when you're in the situation. But I like to think that I would, want that help, and I feel like it's what's best for the child. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but it's definitely different in the situation. It's that would be so hard.
Yeah. I've noticed with my own family and my mom. My brother's had the opportunity to ride. I don't know if you guys have this where you guys live, the short bus that picks up all the special needs children.
Yeah.
And my brother had the opportunity and totally could have, but my mom was. He can be in all the special ed classes and that's fine, but we're not putting him on that. I'll take him to school every day, or his brothers will, and make sure he gets there. And I think it's she didn't want him to have that social stigma of, well, you had to ride the short bus, and you know how kids are, and they're going to tease and poke fun. Yeah. Especially, she wanted him to be put in a normal functioning class to help him, and that's what she did, sort of. There were a couple other classes that he had to take, but, she wanted it to be as normal of a societal learning experience for him as it possibly could be.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that's a way smart way to go about it, because if you don't want the child to think hey, we're gonna put you on this bus because you're different. You don't want to give them that feeling and that sense. And that bus is a great it's a great thing. I feel like they were have good intentions with it, but it's totally it's how you said your mom just didn't feel like that was right for So I think it's they have good intentions with that, but you don't want to give the child that sense of thinking.
Yeah.
And Janelle said, she said, I would want to do anything to help my kids, but I think that it would be hard. I see that it is important that they are in normal class with the regular kids. I think that it's good for them. I think we need to socialize them with the other kids. In one of my other classes, we learned that they should be immersed with the other kids.
Oh, yeah. I agree with that, too, Janelle. All right. Yeah. So this last question says, did you get a sense that parents were uncomfortable or had a sense of denial, shame, embarrassment related to their child's special needs? Or did they feel a sense of resolution or acceptance and had a long-term plan for dealing with their child's needs? I can go first if you guys want me to.
Yeah, go ahead.
Might as well. Since it's kind of already in the past, my grandfather didn't seem in denial about it. But I asked him, when he first found out, was it hard to understand? And looked at me, he goes, ultimately you want your kids to be happy. And I knew that if I did these programs and put your uncle in through these schools and helped him out and put him in the right classes, he would be happy. And that's my biggest thing for him. And he said to me, he looked at me and goes, you know how bowling is a big part of your uncle's life? My uncle was a huge bowler. If I hadn't enrolled him in the physical therapy class, he might have not been able to bowl ever in his life.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know the extent of what he was like as a kid. It's only secondhand from what I've heard from my mom and my aunt and my grandparents. But he didn't seem to be in denial about it. He just wants his child to be happy, and even after he's gone, he wants him to be happy and be able to function and do things on his own and have that independence. If that makes any sense.
Oh yeah.
That's really cool. It's kind of like, it kind of goes into play with what mine was about that lady's nephew. I was actually like, cause like he was biased, so like I kind of knew know. And like, it's really, like I think it's really important that they can find that thing that they're good at and they love doing too. Because like, if they're just gonna be like treated like they can't do anything, then yeah, they're not gonna find, what they can do. And so like he has learned like a ton of physical therapy too throughout his life. And like his thing is like horseback riding. He really is like really good. Like he does all these competitions and he has like a bajillion like trophies and stuff down there that like, and so like he's like really been able to like find something that he loves doing and like without like all the help that he got and he was really able to. And like from like knowing his parents just a little bit, like I didn't know like how they felt like when he was like born and when they found out about it. But like I know now like they're so proud of him and like they really just like I don't know, like they're so happy that there's no other way that there's no other son they like would want and they would want him in different like he really adds to her family and like like it's so true like I feel like they really took their lives and stuff and I feel like if they get that help and stuff then they can really like live like a full life and stuff. So.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Janelle said, the lady I interviewed wasn't in denial or anything, but I feel like there are other parents that are in denial or they try to avoid the topic. She said when she first found out about the child's disability, it was hard for her at first, but she was able to prepare before he was even born. She did her research and talked with doctors and they formed a plan. She wasn't in denial, but she wanted to help her grandson grow and develop. She wants him to be able to walk. They are working really hard and they are slowly making progress. The progress is being made. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's often a lot of parents and caregivers who kind of like they're in that denial, like they don't want to accept that at first. But I think that when they realize when it comes to their child, they have to be more accepting of it, and they want to do it, but it is hard. But for like my friend, she never had a child, but like she with her nephew, it was more like it was never a denial. It was more like accepting, okay, this is what I need to do. What is my next step, pretty much.
Yeah.
And so, you get parents like that, but then some that's not the first thing they think of. That's not. They hate it. They don't want to accept it. They're angry. And so I feel like that's, it's sad, but at the same time, it's kind of normal. If you have a child that is going through that, then you don't know that, for yourself unless you've been through it and you know what they're going through, because it is hard.
Yeah. Well, and it's like I think a lot of times like some of the like services that are given whether it's like therapy, like it can be really like challenging for them, but like I think in the long run like it's gonna help. And sometimes it's hard for the parent to like see that like their child like struggling. And so
Yeah.
they're telling them like, he's fine. Like I'll just take care of him, like he doesn't need to learn this, but like really like they need to be challenged to learn that. And I think like
Exactly.
a lot of times um, like that's kind of the norm with like some parents, like they really do want the best for their child, but they're so worried that like they're so worried to put them out in the real world because they don't want to get hurt or like be made fun of or like any of that. So they
Yeah.
like deny them from that when really like that's like what they need. Like they need like to be put out with their peers and like that's how they're gonna best learn.
Yeah. They
Yeah.
need to be put in, I want to say society, but in social situations with unknown people. I love
Yeah.
seeing families, and this is kind of one of my little things. I like seeing families that have special needs kids at Disneyland.
Oh.
I go a lot, and I like seeing it because to other people, it's that kid's being a brat. well, that kid doesn't understand, and most people, and it's sad to see. I've been to Disneyland with friends, and my friends will make an off-color comment like, "Oh, that kid's weird." Like, that kid's special, man. And they'll
Yeah.
go, well, how do you know? I'm like, he acts like my brother. And my friends will go, oh, you want to know what? Now that you pointed out, that makes sense. And it's sad to see that other people don't pick up on it as easily.
Yeah.
Like, but I like seeing those kids in that social situation because it teaches them. It teaches them to stand in a line. It teaches them to be patient. It teaches them how to act when there's other people around and you're not just with your family. It teaches them what's okay to say in public and what's not okay to say in public.
Yeah.
And I've told, my mom has walked up to parents like that and said, I'm so happy that you've done this, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are less chances to learn.
Because there are less chances to learn that if they aren't socialized.
That is a
Yeah.
very true statement. I've seen kids at work who you can tell have special needs, but don't get the social. During the summer, I can see which kids get the help that they need, and which kids are I need help in the moment of. I had a
Yeah.
little a little preteen girl this last summer who wasn't special, at least nothing that she was undiagnosed. If anything, I think she just didn't understand social cues. She was missing social marks, and I mean, she was throwing at a dartboard, she hit the person standing next to the dartboard. It was so bad. There was one day where we were having lunch, and this girl goes, and everyone was talking, joking, having fun, and she goes, "Yeah, let's. You want to know what we should do? We should kill all the fat people." And everyone just immediately stopped and was like, "What did you just say?" And this look on this little girl's face was, "Okay, I can't say that, and I need a." It was a self-reflective moment that I had to regulate because I didn't want the kids to jump down her throat all at once. So I was like, "Is that something we say? Is that a nice thing?" And she was kind of, "Oh, no, probably not." And it was interesting to see after how I reacted to it, how the kids reacted to it. They took it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's important because I feel like kids too, like how other people take it around them, they're just automatically like gonna do that. Like if someone was like, "Are you kidding me?" Like then everyone would be like, "Yeah, are you kidding me?" Like like so I think like that was important in terms of that.
Yeah.
What's your job?
I work as a assistant program director during the school year for Tom Sawyer camps up in Pasadena. I run an after-school camp program at a school called Avison, and during the summer I am a group counselor for Tom Sawyer camps, or at least I have been in the past. I don't know what I'm going to do this next year because they
Oh,
might move
wow.
me around. Yeah, and so I've been exposed. It's fun. I grew up there. I went to camp from when I was 3 all the way up until my freshman year of high school, and to be able to go back and give the kids what I got is fun.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. It's fun. Kids are
Uh,
funny.
Exactly.
I was thinking back to like my high school, and we have a lot of special needs students in our school, and like you could tell which ones like were like given the opportunities when they were younger to like socialize and stuff, and like the ones that weren't. And there's these two kids. They're pretty much like famous in our school. Like everybody loves them. Like they just like really like I don't know. When you see them, they're just like hi. And they're just so happy to see you. And like they've been able to like do a lot within our school. Like they're always in the talent. They were always in the talent shows, and like they loved it. And like they were like the homecoming queen and king. Like they were so cute. Like they like really were able to. I think as they were younger, they were able to like put in a situation where they were able to socialize and stuff, and like they were given the help they needed, and like you could really see like what a difference it made in like their life and stuff, and they were like so happy and stuff.
Oh.
That's really good.
Yeah.
And it's I like it. It's cool when you see kids that notice another kid has special needs. Instead of almost shaming them, they support them and kind of encourage them.
Yeah.
That's awesome that you had to have that experience.
Yeah.
Okay, so this last question, what can you learn from this experience about normative variation, blah, 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 maturational delay, transient disorders, or permanent persistent impairments? Do you see any themes or patterns occurring in your discussion and findings about your respective interviews? That was a mouthful. Blah. Well, what do you guys think? Still trying to collect my own thoughts about this.
Yeah, me too.
I think the one thing, if I'm going to take away, is if I do end up having a kid who's, special needs, of course, I want to be a teacher. That's the goal. I would hope that I did what my grandfather did in focusing on them being happy and taking the steps necessary to make that happiness happen later on in life, even if it's not immediate, right when you want it to be, of course. But that's something I'd want to do, and I think that's important.
Yeah, I think that's important.
I don't know. I don't even know what that means. I don't even know half of this means. What's the normative variation then?
No, a hard question.
Like, what does that even mean? Sorry, I just don't know.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same boat.
Well, I'm not sure how to explain that.
The normative. You know what? I just want to even know what the word normative means.
Establishing, relating to, or deriving from a standard or norm, especially of behavior.
Okay.
Normative, that means a relating of an ideal standard or model. Okay. So it just means like the ideal standard or model, it's being based on what is considered to be the normal way of doing something correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we have kind of all talked about like how I think we all hit that, like how we just think that like there isn't like a set normal and stuff. So I think we kind of all like came to the same conclusion on that.
Oh yeah, how like normal is personal to that individual.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we did. I think we all came to that consensus.
Yeah.
Let's see. I don't know. The second. Hold on. I lost it. There we go. A maturational delay. I think it can be seen at a very early age, if not even before they're born. I think. Is
Oh, yeah.
I think kind of the consensus we had as a group is that an early age development, walking, crawling, talking was kind of a dead giveaway for parents.
Yeah.
And then in that one case, I think it was Janelle's, right? That they knew even ahead of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, they knew that.
Transient disorders and persistent impairments. I'm still trying to wrap my head around those two phrases. Or those two ideas. What does that mean?
Is a temporary condition in which a person makes one or many brief repeated movements and noises.
And that's transient?
What?
And that's the transient disorders?
Yeah, that's what it says.
Okay.
It says it's kind of like, okay.
It's kind of like what?
Tics, or the tic disorder.
Okay. And persistent impairments. I don't know. I think that I don't know. I think we came to, like, to a general consensus about I don't know. I'm trying to kind of wrap my head around this.
So what is the impairment?
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now. Yeah, that Google search did not help.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
That just confused me even more.
Well, I mean, it's persistent would be like, something that's constant, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's something that, they have to live with. I guess something is wrong, I
For the
don't
rest
know,
of their lives.
yeah, for the rest of their lives.
Okay.
That makes sense.
I think the one thing I know I can take away from this is that you need to be on top of it. And when I say on top of it, I mean that you need to be constantly looking to improve, and
Yeah.
you need to looking to challenge your child or even yourself. I mean, if you, sometimes kids are aware of their autism and know that they need to challenge themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
All right, let me see. All right, in the final 2 minutes of the session. Okay, so in conclusion or in review of anything, unless you guys want to add anything, I'll review.
No, I think we're good.
Okay. I don't want to. I don't want to cut anybody off while in the middle of a good thought.
Yeah.
All right. So basically, we've come to the consensus that the norm pertains to the individual, not as everybody as a whole. And there's a difference between a norm and a societal norm, I think is what we kind of decided.
Yeah.
And then we came up with that we need to be proactive in helping kids. And we don't want to disable kids from learning. We want to promote and encourage them and challenge them. If we don't challenge them, what do they learn? I remember we talked about that. What else do you guys want to add to that? Those are the two main things that have come to my mind.
I think really being like open to getting that help for the child and like putting them in situations where they can like grow and learn and like, be challenged and stuff I think is really important. Even like yeah, like when like I don't know, like you can't say like with our own children because like who knows like what, like they'll have these like, special differences or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
even with children that you work with, like make sure that they are included and get that like those opportunities that they can as like their peers and stuff. I guess.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Make sure they're not excluded from social things.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Did you want to add anything or Jane?
Oh no, you guys covered it.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that's about it, right?
I think so.
Was
I think we
that 15 minutes or?
Yeah, I think we started at like 11:15ish maybe, or 11.
Oh, here was a different time zone. I was like, what?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
But
I think we're all in different time zones.
where
I
do you
know.
go at?
I'm North Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm Los
Not you in
Angeles.
Idaho, so.
Oh, okay.
Christy, you said you're in Idaho?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so is Janelle, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm in Los Angeles. It's sunny today. I'm happy.
Wow.
All right, you guys.
Alright, cool. Oh, also, sorry. Janelle, do you want to, we think those are your slides on the transitional character.
Oh, here.
If
Let me
you
stop the
want,
broadcast and we can continue this.
Yeah.